Hello. Today we're going to talk about a pretty important subject, especially recently, and this is about social media and how it has impacted our lives, and if it's really essential in our lives, and if it makes changes for good or for bad. So, Rafa, do you think that social media is essential for social development?
Well, I think that as it started, like back when communication was harder to, well, actually for people to communicate with others, they had to be in person or it took very long times for them to receive a message. I think it helped a lot. It helped people develop new skills and it helped us really be interconnected more with people and with society itself. However, I think as it developed, it has become a really big issue since it's taking part of our lives and part of our capacity to think and to develop our own ideas.
Okay, and Vale, what's your opinion on this? Do you think that if it's so essential now, if you think that it's essential now, why wasn't it essential back then? Or do you agree with Rafa?
I do agree with what Rafa says. I think it has taken more place nowadays to the level that even businesses has used social media as a strategy to reach their target market. So I think it's gonna take even more importance and it's gonna go backwards because technology has been growing a lot and
Okay, well, we'll move on. Do you think, based on what they said, that at one point social media was actually a positive tool?
yes, it is a positive tool, but the problem with social media is that it becomes addictive. It's like an addiction for most of the people that use it because you start losing the time of your days and you can use that time in something more productive. And social media is like mm, it's like making people harder to start like having new experiences as they start to be more in their cell phones instead of being outside and doing other activities.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. Well, going back to what Rafa said, do you think that social media has become negative because it essentially gives people a second chance on their first impressions? Everybody gets a second chance on their social interactions. It's not always in person, so everybody can think about what they say. Do you think that takes away about takes away from how genuine people are during social
Well, I
interactions?
guess it depends on each person, and I think you can be a really fake person or like a really genuine person. So I think, like as a reliable resource, we shouldn't use social media because people rely for it. But you can see, like you can compare the real like in-person interaction and then the social media interaction and actually get an idea of that person because if you see that she or he is fake, then you can have like that red flag or that can help you like to know the person even more. So I think you should use it for your advantage, uh, even though the person is fake. But I think that that helps a lot socially because you don't have to meet the person like physically and you can have it like in your phone and just know it physically and I think that helps for social development as long as you do it like physically.
Great. And Rafa, do you think that those cases where people are fake would actually help other people try to understand when some people are genuine and when other people are not genuine? And what do you think, going back to what you said that when there was no social media, that people developed more social skills and more important skills? Would you say that being able to understand when somebody is being their genuine self or not nowadays would be a new social important skill?
Okay, so answering the first part of the question, I think that people can be authentic through social media, but they also generate another self or another picture of themselves, and they're forced to like work up to it. So I think sometimes it might be even good for people to fake it since they have to do things to get those pictures. For example, like if you pose as a hiker, you actually have to go on hikes to get those pictures, and it actually makes people get out of their houses and actually live a little bit, even if it's just for the pictures. They're actually doing stuff. So unconsciously, they're getting something like some reward other than just how they look on social media. So I think it might be like a two-sided blade where they can both get some experience and also that part that they're lacking authenticity. And for the second part, I think that the social skills developed like before social media, they had to be in person. They had to develop these speaking skills, these social skills. They had to avoid the social anxiety that it has been, well, an issue that's growing really, really fast because people are not used to being with other people. People are used to having time to think what they're about to say. If you're texting with someone, you can actually receive a text and have an hour to think while you're going to answer to them. So if you're in person, you don't have that opportunity. So I think that is what makes people lack social skills nowadays.
Okay, and going to what Rafa said, Ade, what do you think about the motivation behind what people do on social media? Do you think that it's fine that social media has become a main motivation for people to do things, or do you think that it should be more important for them not to rely on their motivation on social media?
Well, I do believe all of us are responsible of what we consume, and many people are trying to sell us a perfect life in social media. There's actually people that that's their work, even if they don't believe it. So, yeah, there have been many cases where mental people's mental health is damaged because of what they see, and they are trying to compare their life to the perfect life they're watching on social media, even if it's not true. So I believe social media can be very useful if it is used in a very intelligent way, because it can be also very, very dangerous.
And would you say that this motivation has essentially become something has had a negative impact on everybody? Instead of being a true motivation, it's become something more of greed or jealousy of what people want that they don't have.
But not on everybody, because you have to be realistic and you have to keep your feet on the ground and fully identify what's real and what is something out of this world. Many many brands are paying people to sell something they they want to show, and people believe it. But I think it's fault of the people who believe it instead of the people who show it.
Well, I think we can come to the conclusion that social media was built with a positive idea and with a positive goal, but it's led to a lot of dark places where people go to dark motivations instead of going to what they really want to do and focus more on what other people are doing more than what they're doing. But on the other hand, it also has helped a lot of people connect with other people, and it has helped people expand their social network. So I believe just like everything else in this world, it has its positive and negative sides.